Hello and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is October 12th, 2024. This is episode 290. You know, it always feels good when I hit one of those, anytime I hit a 10, you know what I mean? I am a stand-up comedian, an actor, and an improviser, and a dreamer, and I am sharing my journey, thoughts, and insights as I pursue my dreams as a comedian, in hopes that any insight that I may or may not have gained in this process might provide a little insight, inspiration, guidance, cautionary tales, or may just be a positive podcast for anybody out there looking to live and fulfill a dream of their own. So, today has been a pretty busy day for me. I have been working a lot on the website for my two-person comedy show, the Midlife Crisis Comedy Show. And I have been spending pretty much every day trying to figure out how to make advertising more effective, what stats I can look at, what I can do with the landing page, with the ad copy. And I have been working with a gentleman from England who has actually a very sophisticated English accent, which perhaps makes me feel he's a little bit smarter than maybe he really is, although he does actually seem pretty smart. So every day he'll send me a little Loom video going through all of our ads and our stats and the numbers, and he'll make recommendations on how he feels we might be able to improve on our advertising. And this morning he suggested that we edit the landing page that we have been sending our leads to. However, the page that he wanted me to edit is a website called Eventbrite. And Eventbrite is this independent ticketing website, and you actually don't have a heck of a lot of functionality or capability in terms of the types of edits that you can do. I mean, you can, like, the layout of the landing page is pretty much locked down, and then all you can do is just swap out text and images. And he started saying things like, "Oh, you know, we need to move the location up here, and over here, if we could put the ticketing price, and if we could make that a little bit more prominent over here." And he's like suggesting like very specific edits, which just quite frankly are not possible with the Eventbrite landing page builder. So what I did is I went and built a landing page from scratch on our website and embedded the Eventbrite ticketing widget on our website. So that way I have complete functionality of the edit, can design it however I want, yet we still get the benefits of having the Eventbrite back engine. So yeah, we'll go ahead and see how that all works. And I ended up spending a lot of time on that. I had a rehearsal for the sketch comedy group that I'm currently participating in called Patent Pending. And we have a show coming up in the middle of November. And so we are getting more and more involved in our rehearsals, getting ready for that show. But I even brought my laptop to that rehearsal, and in downtime, I was welling away at that landing page, trying to get it looking very fancy. So we'll see. We'll see if that landing page helps increase our conversions, because that's pretty much the name of the game right now, which is how the heck do you market, brand, and sell tickets to a comedy show. And I'm just swimming in those waters all day, every day. And you know, I'm not unhappy with that. It's it's really just part of a bigger realization that I've had over about the last year and a half, as I've really started to delve into how I can obtain the most success as a comedian who is currently not famous. And, barring some sort of miraculous big break where some major studio or major casting director or something discovers me out of obscurity and, there's just this part or there's just this opportunity that I am just so right for, which, by the way, totally open to that. I'm not closing the door on that. But while I'm waiting, I have just decided that what I need to do is figure out what is where is the best, most highest potential for me to put my time and energy if I were to treat my comedy as a business and not necessarily as me just being an artist waiting to get plucked up out of obscurity. And I've been around this business long enough. I have met enough comedians at all stages of their careers, or all stages of entertainment career. I've seen people go from zero to getting huge breaks. I've seen, comics who I've worked with end up on national television. I've seen comics who I started doing open mics with, and then they now are nationally touring headlining acts and can sell out clubs nationwide, who have gigantic social media followings. And I've also seen comics who have been in the game for decades who are struggling and, are at this point to where maybe they didn't quite get a huge break, or they didn't quite get famous, or whatever happened. And now they're struggling, trying to figure it out. So I am taking all of that information, looking at where I'm at in my career, looking at my resources, looking at my capabilities, looking at just all of the different avenues that I could choose to take at this point in pursuing my dream. And what I've determined is that if I can figure out how to effectively market and advertise a show and sell tickets, and not just sell some tickets, sell a heck of a lot of tickets to a show, that will instantly put me in a very, very small percentage of comedians, and it actually has nothing to do with whether I'm famous or not. Obviously, if I'm famous, I can sell tickets just by my face, because people love to spend money to go see famous people. So the next step then is, can I market myself, market a show? And right now I'm heavily marketing the Midlife Crisis comedy show, and market that show so effectively that even if people don't recognize me through some sort of fame, they are still so emotionally moved. All right, that sounded a little bit more dramatic than I meant for it to sound, but ultimately, if they buy a ticket because they want to see me perform, it doesn't matter if I'm famous or not, as long as they're coming out to see the show. And what is exciting about that to me is there is absolutely no ceiling to how high that influence can go. And every other avenue that I have either experienced or seen other performers experience in this industry, again, assuming they aren't famous, it just seems to be such a very low ceiling. And so what I'm excited about is adjusting my focus on learning and understanding an element of the business that has literally no ceiling. The potential is literally limitless. What do I mean by that? Well, because there is no limit to how many venues have seats available to put butts into, and there is no limit to how much me and my partner Josh can charge for a ticket. So if we can sell a 100-seat venue at $20, well, then the next goal will be to sell a 500-seat at $20. And if we can sell 500 seats, then we can sell 1,000. If we can sell 1,000, then we can sell 5,000. If we can sell 5,000, right? And it just goes up and up and up and up. And if we get to a point to where, we're selling out major venues, well, then we can look at increasing ticket price. So the struggle is real. I mean, right now, trying to sell tickets is definitely an uphill battle. And I know that, we know that. I mean, how often, just anybody listen to this, how often do you see an advertisement for a show, are so compelled by the advertisement, especially if it's not a comedian or a celebrity or an artist who you already know, and you're so compelled that you click on the ad, end up on a landing page, and spend money to see them, right? So it's not easy, but I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, choose your hard. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you do, there's going to be an element of hard to it. And I think the trick to life is to choose your hard. So is it hard to try to advertise, put together compelling advertisements, invest tons of money in ad spend, in creating ads and creating copy, tracking the results, trying to, figure out demographics and geolocating and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's endless and it's exhausting. But the flip side of that hard is, well, if we can figure that out now while we aren't famous, it is only going to make it significantly easier on the other end when we are famous. And, as our brand continues to grow and we do get more recognition and, people start to know who we are and know what we're doing and, are following us on social media and then are excited to come see us in person. So it is very ambitious. It is a lot of work, but it's something that I'm very excited about. And also at the end of the day, I absolutely love doing these 2-person comedy shows with my buddy Josh. They're just some of the most fun shows. They're right up my alley. They are almost entirely improvised. We'll usually do a little bit of stand-up to start the show, but not a lot. And most of the show is improvised, and it involves crowd work. It's interactive, it's spontaneous, and it involves music improv, which is one of my greatest loves. And in terms of following my dream, what better way to follow my dream than to put my effort and my passion and my energy into trying to figure out how to do more of what I love and to continue to try to find ways and to grow and to progress and to learn and find ways to not only do more of what we love and what I love, but to do so in a manner that is, financially viable, not only for the short term, for the long term. And again, I talk so much on this podcast about going for your dreams, and I am fully aware that every dream needs some sort of needs to be financed somehow. And whatever it is that you're going for, there's probably almost always going to be a delayed how do I say this? A delayed potential financial benefits. And it's all fine and dandy to say, oh, I have this big dream, but day in and day out, bills need to get paid, food needs to be eaten, kids need to be taken care of, jobs need to be done. And so much of what I've learned about pursuing the dream in the manner that I'm doing it is that it is so crucial to strive as best you can to set up your life in a manner that is supportive of your dreams and supporting of your dreams, and to surround yourself by people who are in your corner and are supportive of your dreams. And I'll tell you, it may be shocking, but there are actually people out there who do not want you to have your dreams, who do not want you to experience and live the life that is calling to you and that fills your heart and fills your soul and is exciting and inspirational. And I have been doing this long enough to where I can recognize those people a little faster and, than maybe I used to. But there are so many people out there who are supportive and want you to have your dreams and want you to be successful, and surrounding yourself with as many of those people is so crucial. And doing whatever you need to do to set up your life in a manner that will also facilitate the dream, if it's what you truly want and if it's what's really in your heart. And, maybe there are a couple dreams that you have that are maybe just more pipe dreams or just sort of passing hobbies or whatever. And fair enough. We all have plenty of those. I have plenty of those. But if there is really something that is deep in you and is really calling to you and really lights you up just to think about it, to where it doesn't feel like work, I mean, I spent so many hours today on our website making minor tweaks and minor adjustments that probably have very little impact. It's not like our website is a popular website that is being visited by the tens of thousands every day. But it didn't matter. It was part of the dream. It was stuff that needed to get done, stuff that needed to get tweaked. And I didn't think twice to hop in there and spend several hours creating a landing page and tweaking and editing. And that to me is what's so exciting about having a dream that you're working towards. Is it's so easy just to get lost in the work of it all, and the work is joyful and fulfilling and exciting, because even if the actual task itself is somewhat tedious or menial, it is done and fueled by a deeper passion and a deeper excitement and a deeper joy. And it makes the menial tasks just seem, just seem like a fun day at work. It's the old choose your hard. So keep pursuing your dreams, everybody, and do so with as much excitement, joy, and enthusiasm as you can. So with that, I have also been reading, and when I say reading, I mean listening to on audiobook, a book called The Magic Mindset. which has been very influential and very helpful as it's caused me to be very reflective of my mindset, how I am approaching my dreams, how I'm approaching my life, how am I approaching my thoughts and emotions, and how I'm processing what's happening around me. And today's chapter it just says like the magic mindset about money or something like that. So it's pretty much just saying, how do you have a magic mindset in regards to money? Now, this chapter is, it's a bit more on the secret side of things for any of you who've seen or studied or read The Secret. It's very much in that vein, which, by the way, I am not opposed to The Secret. I watched it. I remember when it came out, I think like mid 2005, 2006, maybe somewhere around there, 2007, 8, somewhere around there. I remember watching that and was very inspired by it. I also bought the book and read the book. And, I think The Secret does have some very powerful tools and a lot of truth. I don't think it is complete enough. I think The Secret really focuses on thoughts and ideas and neglects a pretty significant component, which is after you have your thoughts and after you, think things, there is a very significant corresponding effort and action that needs to be taken, and not only just action, but consistent long-term action. And, The Secret, it doesn't come right out and say this, but I feel like it almost is insinuating that, like, hey, all you gotta do is just think it, and then boom, it's gonna happen for you. Which has not been my experience. I have thought and manifested and journaled about many, 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 many things that still have not happened. Some of them may never happen, but at least have not happened yet. And again, maybe that's not to say that they won't happen, but there definitely does seem to be a fairly significant delay factor in The Secret and the idea of The Secret. And I think that's also similar with the magic mindset. The magic mindset, again, does seem to lean a little towards, just think and put your mind in the right place, and then everything will change in your life instantly. That's not to say that instantaneous stuff doesn't happen. And I have had some experiences where I'll I'll think of something, I'll quote unquote manifest it in my mind, I'll journal it and be like, I am choosing to receive this thing, or I am choosing this experience. And sometimes those experiences do happen fairly quickly. But the majority of manifestations that have happened quickly to manifestations that have not even happened to date, even though I had quote-unquote manifested them even years ago, far outweighs the immediate receiving. So, I believe in the mindset. I believe in positivity. I believe in manifestation. I also do not know how much of what I'm experiencing in my life is actually of my own manifestation, or how much of it is destiny, how much of it is a force beyond my control. I'm still navigating all of those questions, but I do feel I can say with a significant amount of confidence that having a positive, ambitious, open-minded, excited, joyful, mindset, a mindset that is constructed of love, constructed of wonder, of excitement, of gratitude, of grace for every good thing that happens, forgiveness and grace for every bad thing that happens. Anyway, adapting a mindset based off of those principles and emotions and ideas will only serve you better than a mindset with any of the antithesis of those attributes. And I've really started to feel that in these last couple of weeks. And, I think a lot of that was, a few months ago, I started reading this book called The 48 Laws of Power, which was really negative and really cynical. And even though I was objecting to the book as I was reading it, I was also absorbing it and absorbing the energy in which it was written. And I got pretty cynical and I got pretty discouraged, interestingly enough. And over the last, couple of weeks or about the last month or so, I finished that book and then I started reading books about positive mindset. I read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And then this book is called The Magic Mindset. And I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling such an adjustment in my attitude and my ambitious. I find myself being a lot more willing to take risks, a lot more willing to be assertive, a lot more willing to put myself out there and say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need to happen. A lot more willing to go like, hey, why not me? Just the other day, I was watching Saturday Night Live, and I'm not going to lie, it has been a dream of mine to be on that show since I was a child. I remember being 8, 9, 10 years old. I'd be upstairs because it was bedtime, and I would hear my dad downstairs watching Saturday Night Live, laughing his head off, and me thinking, I want to be on that show. And I remember showing up to elementary school, and I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, and I would be acting out all of the characters that I saw on Saturday Night Live. I'd be acting out Hans and Franz, and Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer, and Sprockets, and Wayne's World, and Motivational Speaker, and Adam Sandler, and somewhere in my life, early on, I adapted this belief that being on that show would just be impossible for me. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what caused me to adapt such a negative final mindset. And then 2 years ago, come to find out, a stand-up comedian friend of mine who I started doing stand-up with around the same time that he did gets booked on Saturday Night Live. And I watch it every Saturday, and I see him on the show. And even then, the mindset comes in of, oh, well, he's half my age. They only want younger, hotter people. I'm too old. I'm too this. And just this last week, because of all of this positivity, because all of this adjustment of mindset, I just asked myself, well, is that actually true? Am I objectively too old to get cast on Saturday Night Live? And so I Googled it. Who was the oldest person to ever get cast on Saturday Night Live? And you want to know what I found out? It was Leslie Jones, and she was 47. And the next was Daryl Hammond, who I think was 42, 43. I was like, wait a minute, I'm 43. So it's not that it's impossible to get cast on Saturday Night Live at 43. Sure, they tend to cast younger, but everybody tends to cast younger. Unless they need somebody older for some reason. So even that adjustment of me going, oh, there's just no way that this could happen for me, it's an impossibility, just me adjusting my mindset at least caused me to go, Well, is that absolutely true? Is it objectively true that I am too old? And come to find out, that's not an objective truth, because they have hired even older than me. And that just put me in this positive mindset. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking like, oh, what would it be like to audition for SNL? I should write out my SNL audition just in case. And I sat down and I wrote out what I would do I think you get like 7 minutes to audition for them. And I wrote out exactly what I was going to do in my SNL audition. Now, again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but you just see the adjustment of mindset, how that changes the emotions, and then how that changes the behavior. Because who knows? Who knows why I would need to use a written out SNL audition? But I wrote it out. And had I been holding to my older mindset, I wouldn't have even written that out. I probably just would have watched TV and felt sorry for myself. But instead, I took an action. Who knows what the result is? But that is the magic mindset, everybody. And I am seeking more and more to adapt that and just to see how that influences my outcomes. So look at that mindset, everybody. And that is how I'm going to wrap it up for today. So I love you all so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope your dreams are coming true. You're out there going for it, feeling all of the joy and excitement and the ups and the downs of pursuing a dream. This is the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, October 12th, 2024, episode 290. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.